Okay, for today's 13 projects for Halloween, we're going to do these treat bags. And I'm going to show you how I did the background and a little bit of my thought process with the die cuts, the Ghoulish die cuts. And this is pretty unique because not only do we extend and kind of decorate the top of the treat bag, but we also use the worn wallpaper, so the inside of the bag is just as pretty as the outside. So this is a pretty quick and simple project, perfect for if you want to give gift cards maybe to your crafting friends. They're a great size for that. Also, they can be filled with candy. I only had breath mints, or a gift of money. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Okay, for this 13 projects of Halloween, we're going to keep it kind of simple. So our main components are going to be paper from Worn Wallpaper, the Tim Holtz Halloween release, along with Ghoulish, and this, what is this? This is the treat bag. So first what we're going to do is I want the inside of my bag to be just as pretty as the outside. So I've picked these, this print. You can do this with anything, any kind of paper that might be double-sided, but I liked the texture of this, and I haven't really used this paper yet, so I thought, well, why not? So what I'm going to start with is just laying some ink, and here I'm going to mix both the regular Distress ink, so I've got Dusty Concord, both regular and oxide like I said, and then we're going to be adding some black soot too. Now, I wanted to show you too, with these with the blenders and the foam pads, you can interchange your colors on the pad within the same family, but you don't want to mix the inks with the oxide. So sometimes you might end up with a pad that you don't know, okay, is this oxide on there, or is it regular ink? So how I like to be able to, how I tell what's on there is if I just kind of ink my finger, and let me get it up closer, you can kind of see how there's like a white or like a grayish to it. So that's telling me that that's an oxide. And I believe this is Blueprint Sketch, which I don't have. I don't have the regular ink for, but okay, let me show you the difference here. Let me see. Okay, so there is Dusty Concord Oxide, and here is Dusty Concord regular, and you can see that difference. There's like that white, or this is definitely opaque and that's clear. So a lot of times you can tell the difference by testing it and checking it first. Okay, so let's move on. So here we go. I'm just laying down some color. I'm not worried about streaks. I'm just getting some depth and some color on here. Like so. Let's mix some. Randomly, just trying to move it around. Medium pressure, some areas lighter, some areas a little darker or a little heavier. Here we go, and again, we can always go straight direct. Just that next layer. Add some variety and a little bit of interest. Okay, now let me do a quick wipe down. Okay, and now I'm just going to add some black soot. Actually, this is a bit damp, so I'm just going to do a quick that's good. Okay, and so some of these areas where I just want to break it up a little and kind of just really light pressure, because black soot, you know, you can always go heavier, but you can't take it away as easily. So I'm just using the texture of this paper and sliding across. A little heavier in some. Okay. So, I mean, that's, you know, okay. It's the color I'm looking for, variety and color. And now what we're going to do is this is just stamp from Tangled Webs, and I'm just going to kind of lay them down, kind of random. I think we're just going to use these two, and I'm going to spritz it with water, and then I'm doing it this way, so then that way I can't be very particular. I want a really random spider web, and if I'm not able to see it, then however it ends up is the fun of it. Kind of takes that control away from me, which is fun. Because sometimes we just have a tendency to overthink things, don't we? Whereas if I'm just kind of playing with it like this, this is what's going to make a fun look. So I want to get up some of this water that started to pool. There we go. Let's see. And if I leave it for a couple more seconds, just more contact. We can leave that for a second or two while I spritz again. Just so it penetrates that ink. And I can see here, I need some more in this area. Okay, and I can even, if I wanted, turn this over and now start to be a little more controlled about where it goes. Let's go with this one. It's got a closer webbing. Okay. I like that. And I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to come back with them die cut, and we'll get moving on the next step. Okay, so I'm back, and what happened was a couple days ago when I was playing, I had done this background, and this is kind of what I'm going for. I couldn't use this one because this is not the right size. This is, I used the distress stamping paper, specialty paper, and this is too small to fit for the treat bag. That's kind of why I went with this one. And I didn't think, but this one has such a coating on it, I thought that this paper was going to repel enough. So anyway, just letting you know, I do these but on the fly. I have never been one to pre-plan a full project. That just kind of stresses me out, actually. I go best with just going with the flow, especially because I have so much product these days that I can do that. So anyway, so I have put a clear coat of gesso on here, and hopefully this time that ink is really going to lift up and off of there. So let's try this again with the same colors, same technique. And I'm not quite getting enough ink that I want on here, so I'm just going to smush it so I can pick up more ink. There we go, look at it. And I'm also wanting to do more of the regular distress ink versus the oxide on there, just because it's going to react with the water a little bit better, or more for this technique that I'm looking for. Okay. From the gesso. So even though I covered up this texture of the wallpaper, gesso still still has some texture on there, some brush strokes. Okay, so let's give this a quick dry. I'm really liking how there's some random in there. Okay, let's close this stuff up. Okay, so now we're gonna lay these down just like I did before, and it's gonna get this more like, I don't know, see, I'm being fussy. There we go. Look at how much better that's coming up. Yeah. Let's move these. If we take and lift it, look at that. Kind of almost looks as if we're using the lifting product. Oops. That's okay. So I think I'm actually gonna switch this around and do it now more, so then that way the water falls onto the paper there. Okay, so I think that's given me a little bit more of the effect I'm looking for. Although I really like that, but until I get 8.5 by 11 sheets, I'll just have to use that on something else. Okay, so I'm going to do it with the other one, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have 3 ghouls, so I really need 3 bags. And I realized what I'm really liking about these ones that were layered with gesso first is the variance in the white that's coming through. So what I've decided to fix this one, instead of trashing it, I'm just going to, I've got some close to my heart white daisy pigmented ink, which happens to be my favorite white ink. And I'm just going to stamp, you know, the web in a couple of the areas, not really worrying about if it's going to be exact, because this is kind of a watercolor effect. So really the only thing I'm keeping in mind here is kind of the web and the direction that this is going. So if I can see that this is a really big gap between this one. So I'm going to look for a big gap on here, which I believe is this one, and then just kind of line it best that I can. Just line it up and then give it, yeah, see, that's going to give just enough interest. So let's see, let's do it again. Here's that big hole, or the bigger, which is about right here. Although I can see that this web comes up higher, so that's not the right bigger opening. This one is, because it's much lower. Again, just iron it. There we go. And then I think this one is this corner one, if I remember correctly. Yep. So we'll just do one of these. And there we go. Alright, yep, I'm liking that already. Much, much better. Okay, so when I cut these out, what I'm looking for is this being the top. I want that interest of it coming around the corner. So I think I'm going to cut this one out somewhere like this, so when it wraps around, this web here is going to wrap around the back. And kind of this one. That's what's great about these dies, is you can, and having bigger pieces of paper, you can kind of play with what area you like the best. And that one kind of the same. Ooh, look it. I'm going to like that. So, yep. Alright, I'll be back with all my dies cut. Okay, so I'm back with all my die cuts here. And I just wanted to show you a little tip when you have kind of fragile die pieces and you want them sanded. If you keep them, this is a Tim trick, if you keep them in the cutout, then you can sand them really easy. So like that. And this is just the purple from the Craft Core paper, so it's got texture to it. I thought this purple would look nice for Dracula. There. So you get the jits. And then also, I liked him on this background that we actually ended up adding the pigmented ink to stamp. So before I fold this, I want a bit of a shadow. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm okay that he's not going to fit, because I can see here this is going to be the fold line. So I'm just going to want to go in there and then grab my black soot and create this, kind of using it as a stencil. I can create a bit of a shadow already. So then when I add them on here, look at that, there's already going to be a shadow. Can you see that? Sorry, it's dark and rainy here again today. So if I didn't, no, I really want that. Okay, so I'm going to do that to the rest of my pieces. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to go with the antique linen scully. I think I had the scully on this one. I don't know if I'm gonna go with the white or more of the, so I'll be right back. Okay, so while working on the skeleton one, I decided I want to use some of this fringe coming out of the top of the bag. So, but I don't want to dye it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp. These are, it's a sentiment from the Michael's Pumpkin set. This one here, the jack-o'-lantern. And so I want to just get some of the sticky off of this double-sided tape, just so I can hold the fringe in place. So let's see, let's put some here, and then just on the edge, and then another piece here. And I really, it's not all that sticky, but sticky enough to hold this. And I'm going to be folding this, pinching it in half. So I want the sentiment to come across here like this. So I'm just going to use some archival ink, just in case I change my mind and want to splatter it or anything. And I'm just going to come across like here. There's one. Look at how nice that stamps. And then here's the other. And I'm going to want to go opposite, because it's going to, like I said, it's going to be folded in half. So we'll just go here. And here. So now, gently pull this up off this. Yeah, see, it's sticking. But you know what? We'll just go like this. We'll just pull up the sticky tape. And then I'm just going to cut it, because I don't want to lose that end. There we go. And then I'm just going to fold it in half along this seam. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. A little tricky. I'm sure there's, if I grabbed a bone folder, it'd probably make it easier. And then I'm just going to glue it right to the underside of here. Like so. How fun is that? Okay. Put a nice dab along here. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm going to fold him up and be right back. Okay, so while playing around with Frankie here, I decided I wanted to add the sentiment up to the top of the treat bag. So I'm going to do the same here with Dracula, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, when I cut out the the treat bag itself, this is what I had left. So I had this scrap, and I am just going to stick this together, and with just using, what am I doing here? With just using, just Scotch double-sided tape, like so. And then just lay, I know this long side is the length that I need, so I'm just gonna eye it and lay it down like so. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And I have all black out here, so okay, so it's going to use my white pigmented. There we go. And I know I want it to have a little bit of space to glue, so I'm going to leave a little bit there, go right above. And stamp. Again, you could always use the stamping platform if you're more comfortable doing this with that. Okay, I'm happy with that. And this is just clear embossing powder. I don't remember what brand it is, because my clears I just put in a tub like this, so I don't have to keep using a cleanup sheet. And this is a completely optional step. You don't have to do this either. And I'm just going to heat it. Okay, so this is cut out now, and I just wanted to let you know that when you're getting ready to die cut it, to remember that you want to make sure that your extended side is on the same, that they're going to be the same however you want it to read. You don't want it to end up being backwards and this is the extension piece, because then it's just not really going to work right. So now I don't want to start folding it yet, because you start to lose that tolerance with the folds. So I'm just going to put my bead, again, just like I did with when I did the fringe. I'm just going to put a bead of collage medium right here along the top. And then make sure that you ink the top of this first, because once you glue it, you're not going to be able to get in that get in that groove. And I'm eyeballing this, but of course, you can get it all lined up on your glass media mat if that works for you. I'm just going to hold it in place for a second, because collage medium grabs really quick. It will, once it starts to dry, it will go back in on itself too, but I'm just going to clean this up real quick. Okay, I am going to give this a couple seconds to dry, and then following the directions, I'm going to put a strip of double-sided tape along here and fold it up. And I will be back just for the couple of final details. We got to finish this one. I'm going to finish this one up, or finish folding it up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so to finish these off, this Dracula one, I was really kind of fighting here with you know, having him on here like this, but I really didn't like this void back here. So I have some of this Tim Holtz mummy cloth that had already been dyed, and I just did that by you know, spritzing it and added, it looks like actually it's Dusty Concord, and just let it dry. And I've used it in another project and had some left over. So what I'm going to do is do a strip here like that, and then just place this cloth on here and just kind of play and manipulate it to kind of add some waves. And so I don't want it straight. There, yeah, I like that. See how it just breaks it up a little bit. And then this is too long here, so we'll just snip that. And then ink that up a little. And there we go, he's done. Okay, so for Frankie here, I've just got some creepy cloth, and I've just pulled some pieces off. So this is basically just to appear as like a shadow, or just to kind of like ground him, I guess. And I can always snip those when they dry. And then, because I have a shadow for him, I want him to be 3D. So I've just got some, you know, some string foam, or strip foam, excuse me. I'll just add one here. Add one here. And that'll be good enough for him. Can always add more if it's not going to be strong enough. So I want to adjust him. Let me lift this up. I want to adjust him just so his shadow is showing. Just a little. Like so. You'll see that more in the close-up shots. And then this one, the Skelly, I need to clip his legs. Actually, I may even, no, there we go. And then just ink them up as you do, like so. And same with him. I'll get a strip of this. That's going to be too big, so let's put this one on his head. Okay. Again, put him kind of, I'm having his shadow going to be behind him. And then I've got, I just took and embossed, you know, stamped and then embossed on some more watercolor paper to go for him. And he's going to be holding this trick or treat. So we'll kind of place that in there like that. I wanted it to fill that void down there.